Hey guys, Jason at All the Soul Sportswear. It's Woodstick Wednesday, and a couple of sticks which we haven't actually featured yet from the collection, which are acquired not too long ago, are these two Bacharach Rasin sticks. So let's have a quick look at the sticks. So this one, all the leathers have just kind of fallen apart. You've got the very top bit of leathers, but they've just become so dry and brittle, the whole things have just come out. See, there's little bits of leather there just between the cross lace. It's actually got like a gut cross lace pocket, this one. The other one actually has a mix of materials here. So you've got this kind of cord here, and then there's different material here. Again, leather's a bit dry, just kind of snapped out of this section here, snapped here. So this one I'm definitely going to feed some new leathers through. Just needs a bit of sidewall in there as well. I mean, it actually had a piece of leather as the sidewall here. But, yeah, the phone is ringing. So, we've got two completely different sticks. This is a later Bacharach stick here. This one's actually got a much earlier sticker on the side of it. You can see this model is the All Varsity. You can see on the side here, Bacharach Rasin Co. I'll say Baltimore, Maryland. Now, if you're of a certain age, you will know Bacharach Rasin for lacrosse helmets, and I'm of a certain age, and my first helmet was a Bacharach Rasin helmet. Bacharach Rasin have been around for a good amount of years, but what is kind of not particularly well documented is the fact that Bacharach Rasin were kind of quite influential in expanding lacrosse and the real growth of lacrosse across Maryland and across high schools across the US. So as happens sometimes when you're doing a bit of research, you actually come across conflicting information. So I've actually found two different accounts here, which kind of give a little bit of the history of Bacharach Rasin. So without kind of reading them word for word, I'm going to give you kind of a brief outline. There's one here which is, I'm not sure who this actually came from, but it was Ryan Thayer, may be familiar with. It runs Vintage Lacrosse on Instagram. Much like myself, Ryan collects a whole lot of vintage lacrosse gear. Now, there's some info here on his LinkedIn, which he doesn't actually credit where this came from. But it sounds like it's a member of the Bacharach family. So I'm going to skip past this first bit here, and it says, here we go. By 1914, David Bacharach and Rasin opened the sporting goods store on Howard Street, selling a variety of products: hunting, fishing, camping, football, baseball, etc. They had their own baits branded Bacharach's Better Bunker Bait. By the early 1920s, the store was doing very well. David hired a number of employees, including his eldest son, Albert. I'll skip this a little bit here. But it says here, in the early 1920s, David Bacharach went on a hunting trip to Canada. It was on this trip that he came into contact with an Iroquois tribe known as the Five Nations. David knew of the game of lacrosse because the Ivy League schools were in playing since the late 1800s. Up until now, no one had monetarized the game of lacrosse in America at all. The only place you could get a stick from was the natives, strung from rawhide and catgut. David Bacharach, this is the interesting bit here because it credits David Bacharach here, but in another article I found out actually credits somebody else. It said David Bacharach signed a contract with the Five Nations tribe to be the sole distributor of lacrosse sticks in the United States. David saw a business opportunity to grow the sport no one else had begun to grow. So I'm going to come back to this article, so some good information here, but I found here on, this is on apnews.com, And this one, it says, a man named Peck Bauer, founder of Baltimore-based Bacharach Rasin Sporting Goods, brokered a deal with the Mohawks that gave him the exclusive right to sell their lacrosse sticks. Big shipments arrived here each spring, and students at area schools like Loyola College and Towson University picked up the sport simply because the equipment was there. Now, it's kind of a little bit confusing there as to who they're crediting, you know, for getting lacrosse into these schools and colleges. From what I understand, Peck Bauer was actually a store manager for Bacharach Rasin. So I don't know what to believe there. So, you know, there's was it Peck Bauer? Peck Bauer, Auer. Yeah, it could have been the Bacharach family, David Bacharach. So I'm inclined to think it was you know, maybe Bacharach, because this piece here that I found on Ryan Thayer's LinkedIn actually says, David started pitching the game to high schools, telling them they could use their football fields being unused in the spring and football equipment to outfit the players to start. Then all they needed were the sticks, and he had the sticks, and the game went on to grow. Bacharach then started producing lacrosse gloves, just as they did everything else. Bacharach Rasin Sporting Goods had grown to where they produced all their own gear. So, a little bit confusing, because you can't kind of get to the bottom of who it was that was brokered these deals with the indigenous Americans, or who it was that was actually pitching lacrosse to these schools and colleges. But either way, whether it was Peck Bauer or whether it was David Bacharach, the company Bacharach Rasin, I think it's safe to say, was pretty influential in seeing that explosion of growth in Maryland, simply by getting these wooden sticks in hands. So, no matter which way you look at it, you know, Bacharach Rasin certainly did their bit to grow the game of lacrosse.